guys, welcome back to Legend of the Willow, and we're playing season 3 now, which is super exciting. Once again, I don't know how many seasons this story is gonna be, but we'll see what we got for now. Anyway, it says May crosses an invisible line. Okay, let's get started. Just got some more teacups, so I'm ready to go. Oh, I forgot that there will be a new intro. Okay, back into a populated area. Interesting. Okay. Let's see how this goes. I'm excited for this, guys. I love the story. Chapter 1, tomorrow. Before the moon does, the crowd of people wanes. May ducked to avoid the rapidly approaching blade. She followed her successful dodge by bringing the edge of her fan toward her opponent's stomach. However, her opponent turned sharply, shifting to the side. She had to block the next attack with her fan. Her wrist and elbow throbbed with dull, severe pain, but she did not drop her weapon and instead jumped back. She began spinning with the fan, moving opposite the rest of her body. Then she swung diagonally from the bottom up and missed again. May rolled away from another attack, gracefully springing to her feet behind her opponent. Whoa! She lunged, taking a horizontal swipe at the neck, but immediately jumped back, creating some distance. She moved her fingers into a pass. Her opponent didn't move. Enough. Was she supposed to be using magic? May bowed to Satoshi. The ninja lowered his bokken, rubbing the skin at the back of his collar and tilting his head in response. Swift as an arrow. Great work, May. Kazu was watching her training with the Rona and spoke sternly. You took too long with the main attack. You could have run out of stamina. She would gain more experience with time. Glancing briefly into her eyes, the shinobi nodded. Changing his tone, he added, You did remember the finishing blow. That's good. No hesitation. She found herself smiling. Then bowed deeply to her teachers. I thought you jumped back to avoid getting splashed with blood. A blow to the neck like that. Who'd have thought you were so dangerous? We will end here for today. May could barely believe what she heard. A break? Some freedom for the first time in how long? They even praised me. So they're pleased? It can't be. Kazu's next words wiped a smile from her lips and snapped her back to reality. We're leaving tomorrow. Get ready. Although May lived in the anticipation of the trip, the news took her by surprise. Tomorrow? Why didn't you warn me earlier? When did you decide? Although, if I had found out sooner, I only would have gotten more worried. It's enough time to get ready for the road ahead, so they're right. It's time. The men stayed behind. The kitsune went to relax. Before exiting, she turned and habitually bowed to the hall, showing respect for the many generations of shinobi who had trained for combat there. A warm wind, weaving its way through the mountains to the south, swayed a branch of azalea, disturbing the red sparrow sitting on it. May took a deep breath, clearly recognizing an intangible boundary. The clarity and safety of her briefly settled life in the village was coming to an end. Ahead of her lay the unknown, and the enemies lurking in it. Somewhere out there, far beyond the inaccessible stone ridge separating the village from the rest of the world, lay the capital. Over the last few days, May had not thought about the upcoming trip. There had been no time. Now that she was about to leave this place, thoughts of the Shogun and the Festival of Beauty were spinning in her head almost constantly. The feeling of awakening that permeated the entire village also rubbed off on May. Along with anxiety came the joy of breaking up the monotony. She encouraged herself. Escaping from the city was also scary. Once we begin, there will be no time to be afraid. Despite her doubts about her own convictions, she was in an excellent mood. The air smelled of damp earth and blossoming flowers. It smelled of spring. May dubiously looked at her hands. Trying to combine the skills of a warrior with her formerly flawless appearance had proven extremely difficult. Her palms suffered greatly. The arduous training took its toll. Calluses constantly rattled with her hands, hardly fitting for the highborn lady she would portray. Right, first my hands, then my hair. She changed her clothes, getting herself in order. Black and northern style. Chestnut Island style. We're gonna go with island style. Then she went to the Jonin to return a book. Reading fascinated the Kitsune. Books were expensive, so there were only a few of them back at the Okia. The head of the clan, however, had quite a library. He was sitting at a table heaped with scrolls. Some were not recognizable, others were decorated with unfamiliar crests. The sorcerer, putting a scroll aside, added another to the pile. As he did, he managed to glimpse the title, Magical Creatures in the Heraldry of the Norio Empire. Takao, good evening. Hello, May. Did I see that right? Or maybe he didn't want me to notice the inscription. He didn't have to answer, but perhaps if I asked carefully. Sorry to interrupt. I probably distracted you from something important. Don't worry. He doesn't say. How was your final training session? It seems Kazu and Masamune were satisfied with the outcome. I came here to return this. She held out a book of the stories about Kitsune. Ah. What do you think of it? In these tales, foxes behave strangely. It's nothing more than people's imaginations. Still, did you notice anything they had in common? All the Kitsune in this book are different. Some are good and some bad. Some only pull pranks on travelers, others help heroes in their exploits. What do they have in common? They're cunning. Exactly. You are intelligent and capable of subtlety. I'm sure not many people realize how skillful you can be at this, and how often you use the skill. May, with an almost imperceptible smile, chose to remain silent. The sorcerer approached a nearby shelf. Before you get to the capital, read this. He took out another book, one laying close at hand, one he had prepared for her ahead of time, it seemed. The ring and mirror are described here in great detail. He was talking about the magical techniques that Takao and May were practicing recently. The first was a burst of fire that encircled the sorcerer in a protective ring. It was worth using if there were only enemies nearby. The second allowed one to deceive their enemies' eyes, convincing them that an object was out of place. For instance, the sorcerer's pursuer would believe that the steps of a staircase start further away and will stumble and fall. Ooh, with a certain amount of skill, one could create their own reflection, standing a few steps to the side and attracting the attention of opponents. Ooh! Unfortunately, there's no time for us to further refine these techniques. It's almost the same as what I've already said, but phrased differently. You should read it. You understand the principles and have memorized the passes. They can be good alternatives to Acolyte and Glow. I tried to create them myself this morning. I can't do it yet. I like mirror because I'm doing Pearl Fox. But I can't clearly visualize the illusion. You simply need to get a good look at the subject. There's little time for that in battle. It's not that hard to practice. Takao handed her the book. That is exactly what is described here. Book about magic. Before you arrive in the capital, burn the book. The daughter of a samurai from the distant countryside shouldn't be reading something like this. The daughter of a samurai from a distant countryside shouldn't be reading something like this. What if someone decides to rummage through your belongings? It's a book, especially one about magic. It's very sad to have to burn it. Terrible paper, low quality ink, poorly transcribed, a cheap copy. There's nothing to regret. Fine, fine. Leaving the sorcerer's house, she put her hand to her temple. Takao is very secretive. He doesn't say everything he knows. With Arai, he has no reason to be more outspoken than with me. Changan? Hardly. He doesn't seem to be interested in the details of the contract. Toshi and Hung, even if they did know something, wouldn't tell. Kazu? In addition to be a strong fighter, he's perceptive. He has a great talent for understanding others and what drives them. He's also very close to the Jonin. Kazu is likely his right hand. As such, he's probably most aware of the clan leader's thoughts. Does Akao forbid or ask that I not? Or am I mistaken, and there is nothing more to talk about? Should I ask? No, I don't want to make him choose between his friend and me. If it would bring me harm, he wouldn't hide that he knew. Give you anything. The ninja. The Kitsune noticed Azumi walking towards Satoshi's house. The Kunichi noticed her too. She stopped, clearly waiting for May. Oh god. What does she want? I should find out. It doesn't matter. I've had enough conversations with her. Walk away. Let's just finish this. Goodness. Whatever. The shinobi politely bowed back. She was visibly focused. Path of passion. Azumi? Hello, May. Did you want something? Yes. The kunoichi resolutely and quickly said, I hate how you, a porcelain doll who grew up among makeup brushes and poetry, did this. I'm not interested. May turned around and intended to leave her alone. You know what? Yeah. like I shouldn't even bother. Like, yo. May, wait. Why? I want to say thank you. There's one thing that can't be taken from you. Your ability to be unpredictable. Listen, yes, I do hate you. For no fucking reason. But I will pray for you every day. Because you protected my clan when I betrayed them. Because you talked me out of ending things at the cliff. Do you think it could have been different? It was clearly difficult for Azumi to talk about this. As if own words were fighting her. I don't know. You saved me. Thank Chongun and Takao. Do you hate me? No, Azumi. It took me a few breaths before finally mustering the strength to speak. You should only seek forgiveness from the clan. I'm not angry at you, Azumi. My life doesn't belong to me anymore. It's not like that. Whoever asked before, it's your debt, and it's up to you how you feel about it. I said what I meant. With no more strength left to continue the conversation, May bowed and said goodbye. I go crazy. In the evening, Kitsune dropped by to visit the old ninja. Grandpa Chongun, good evening. May. Tomorrow's a big day, then. Yes. Then it's time to say goodbye. She bowed deeply. I want to thank you for everything. I can imagine. Shinobi took her small hands into his wrinkled, gnarled palms. He shook them firmly. I'm glad I was able to teach you something. Without your concern for my health, I would not have survived such training. Thank you. Thanks to Chongun, May's lessons were more effective. Chongun laughed. Huh. Oh ho ho, so you say, as if you had a choice. You're not cut from cloth that would let you give in to laziness. As for the herbal brews, an old man must be of some use to his village, eh? His expression turned serious. Promise me something, May. Of course. First, don't take risks for the sake of others. You must survive, girl. If you die and that damn gate opens, any deaths will have been in vain. We don't know what will happen if I die. Perhaps the gate will remain locked forever. And what if it doesn't? Grandpa Chongun, I promise to try my best to take care of myself. Well, okay. I didn't expect any other answer. And second, be happy. Don't let difficulties take this feeling from you. Life without happiness is like spring without flowers. Of course, I will rejoice in the thunderstorms. What sounds more passionate? Of course, it's like kind of curt and like cold. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one. She attempted the grin that she often saw on Satoshi's lips. These companions of a spring are closer to me now than flowers. Good attitude. The death of one's enemies also brings something like that. Good luck. It's late already. I better go rest. Okay. Kazu, having prepared everything he needed, went to bed very early. The Kitsune, on the contrary, took advantage of this final opportunity to enjoy this life before the trip and soaked in hot water with fragrant herbs until midnight. May into the bedroom late at night. She settled down on the bed, pulling her knees up to her chest. Shinobi's eyelids barely moved, indicating that he had noticed her presence. Then Kazu dozed off again. May was worried about what was going on between them. Ninja was close and at the same time remained infinitely far away. They slept in the same bed and ate at the same table. He taught her, cared for her, and that was it. During their lessons, May had revealed a lot about herself. Now looking at the ninja, she realized with surprise that for several weeks of living together, May had learned practically nothing about him. She looked at the shinobi furtively. He could feel a direct look even through a dream. This went on for a very long while. Immersed in her thoughts, the Kitsune did not notice immediately. Kitsune did not immediately notice when Kazu's hands tensed. Shadows of vague visions and emotions washed over his face. Grief doesn't need to be talked about. It is fought against in the silence of the night with your fist clenched. Wow. Your fist clenched. Wow. May touched the man's cheek. His eyes opened and focused on her. She whispered, "You were dreaming about something." His voice was harsh and cutting. "Did I wake you?" "No." Remembering what she had been contemplating made dared to ask, "What happened in the village?" "No." He sat up and quickly said, "Sleep. Everything is fine." Then he left the bedroom. May tossed and turned a little, then listened. It's quiet. She waited for a bit before also getting up. Yikes, okay. She found Kazu standing at the open door leading to the terrace. A cold wind blew over his bare torso and ruffled his hair. Without turning around, the shinobi said discontentedly, "I told you to sleep, stubborn." She moved closer to him. "Do you want me to leave?" Finally, the man looked at her. The moonlight outlined his profile. "You'll freeze your legs." Closing the door, he leaned against the wall. His jaw twitched. "I'm sorry, May. Let's go." She kissed his cool shoulder and hugged him. He whispered warmly, "Finally." Confused, Maze raised her eyes to meet his. "You're opening up. Before you wouldn't take the first step." That is true. That is true. She felt herself start to blush. He eagerly and patiently pressed his lips to hers, then easily lifted May into his arms, forcing her to wrap her legs around him. Caresses and tenderness, coupled with want. Shivering with desire, pillows scattered from their passion, clothes slid away, revealing their warm, naked bodies. Kazu ran his lips over her neck, her chest. Suddenly, he stopped. He took a leather cord from the head of the bed. What's that doing there? Pulled his hair together. Why'd you do that? Kissing her belly, he spread her thighs. May wanted to object for a moment. The man moved a little lower. A moan escaped her lips. The air was hot from their closeness. Finally, a voice broke through her dizzying, intoxicating fatigue. "Sleep, trembling one." Interesting. That was hot, but still that was deflection. Still deflecting. Though, yeah, it's a hard time to break through his shell. And I also assume on Masamune's route, that there will be a similar thing where we're trying to get him to realize that he has more to live for, but that's a tricky slope as well. I would think so. So I think there's probably tricky things on both of their routes. And with Takao, I don't know much about what makes him so distant. But yeah, I think that's a whole nother bag of worms. I think with all of the routes, he has some serious uphill battle with getting to a point where you think that they might actually have like an open relationship that's like and get their happy ending. Because I'm not sure how things with Masamune could possibly end. I'm not sure if Kazu will ever actually fully open up. And I'm not sure if Takao will ever actually stop having secrets. It's like similar to Kazu in a way, I think. I don't know what's going on with Shino Odori, I guess, at the same time. In the morning, Masamune, Kazu, and Mei got ready to set out. The final preparations were completed, their flasks were filled with fresh water, and Kieran's tack was checked. Hong arranged everything. The judge handed them accompanying documents. If anyone decides to verify your history, your alleged father and several residents of those parts will confirm it. They will even give a matching description of you. This. The head of the clan held a couple of folded sheets. It's something to commit to memory. Your genealogy and maze, as well as the names of the villages near the house where you grew up. You may also find this useful. From Satoshi's latest findings, we know that makeup incorporating family crest has become popular among the aristocrats of the capital. Takao turned around as if looking for something on the outskirts of the village. Are we waiting for someone? The sorcerer pursed his lips. He sounded displeased. No, but I made a specific alteration to the plan. Just about the fact that Kazu did not react in any way, May could tell. Takao's words did not come as a surprise to him. What are you talking about? One more individual will go with you. No, Azumi's, her punishment is to stay in the village. Satoshi, maybe? He wouldn't be late, though. And why wouldn't he just say Satoshi? An individual? Because the head of the clan had likely not used such an ambiguous word by accident. Yes. A yokai from around here. Shino? Takao, with all due respect. The run did not need to finish. Surprise and displeasure were perfectly clear on his face. Oh, how is Shino and Masamune gonna get on? Lord. Masamune, May, I understand your confusion. However, this will be useful. How? If all goes well, May will be invited to the Shogun's palace. This is not an ordinary castle, it is an entire settlement. Masamune interrupted him impatiently. I know. We suspect that the Shogun has ties with the Ryoge Oni, or even the gatekeeper himself. That's why May must infiltrate the circle of the Empire's commander-in-chief. What are you getting at? At first glance, these creatures are difficult to recognize. Without a doubt, they try to limit their public appearances. Otherwise, someone might have suspicions. For example, sorcerers who are in high society. On the one hand, there is less chance that May will be seen as a Kitsune. She's bad at identifying yokai, but that also makes her hard to spot. In the end, even the Ryoge in the market had to look closely. It's just that a fox cannot be easily recognized in a crowd. On the other hand, you may need to look into someone unsociable. Sorry. Being an official who spends a lot of time in his office is one of many ways to disguise Oni or Ryoge. Ah, I can't breathe. The one who goes with you will be easily able to recognize a yokai disguised as a human. Or one who possessed a person. In theory. This individual won't ruin everything. I've been working with her for the last few weeks. I'm also absolutely convinced that she would not betray May around people. That definitely has to be Shino. It has to be someone I have some rapport with. For sure. They've been working together. Interesting. Wait, what was that book that thing he was reading? I've already forgotten. Hold on. Okay, I went back and read it. So it said magical creatures and the heraldry of the Norio Empire is what it was. So let's see. So it was, I guess it was like a ranking system. Because the heraldry does with like rank and like pedigree, right? Or magical creatures fit in with that? I'm not sure. But, okay. I think I understand. Masamune looked at Kazu. The shinobi was silent. Am I correct in assuming that no one will be able to tell who she really is? The probability is slightly higher than with May. Yeah, because of the way she talks. Has he been working on her with her speech? Orion narrowed his eyes a little. Takao, is this the only reason you're sending a yokai with us? No, but the other reason concerns her and me. I'm concerned about our safety. A quiet, rustling voice intervened. Chatty ones, it's time to go. He emotionlessly added, if she gets in the way, I'll kill her. Please, if you're not going by Shino, please don't kill Shino. The Ronin shook his head but did not object any further. She is waiting for you at the entrance to the pass. After saying their goodbyes, Masamune thanked Takao for his hospitality, and the shinobi patted each other briefly on the shoulders. May bowed to her teacher, the head of the Naito clan. Shino Odori met them in her true form, waving her hand. Approaching, Masamune quietly asked Kazu, in the capital, will we have some way of contacting the clan? If need be. Hello, May. Kazu. The Kitsune could distinguish her facial expressions and saw that she was smiling sincerely. Good morning, Shino Odori. This is Masamune Arai. The Ronin regarded the yokai with wary curiosity. Greetings. Well, I guess he doesn't specifically, God, I can't get the word out. He doesn't specifically hate yokai. He has more a problem with the Oni than the yokai, so. But still, he definitely probably on the side of not trusting them. Masamune. Madam, I apologize, but I would like to know in what form would you accompany us? At least he's being polite. An absolutely beautiful one. One moment. She pulled out an ordinary looking bag hidden among the stones, then took out a silver comb and inserted it into her hair. Her skin changed tone, a blue haze covered her body before solidifying into clothes. Her eyes transformed last. Is that better? May, I'm glad to be traveling together. Whoa! Okay, she definitely been working on her speech. Mr. Kyle thinks this is necessary. I'm glad to have you with- No, I'm glad to have you with us. Yeah, thank you. Shino Odori would look after the cute fox in the big human world. Okay, but don't talk like that. And don't refer to yourself in third person, sweetheart. Oh, one sec. She pretended to clap. Kazu stopped her. A geisha gesture. The yokai immediately lowered her hands. Alright. Shino Odori, may I ask you something? Why are you doing this? Shino Odori's expression grew serious. Lost in thought, she touched the jewelry in her hair. There are several reasons, stern warrior. Interest, curiosity. I want to see more, but going along is scary. I want to help lovely May, help the foxes. There are many people, and yokai are few. Is it difficult for you to understand? Not at all. You transform with the kimono. If you take it off, tear it, what will happen? I will have to eat more. She pondered. Is this like how you cut your hair or nails? It's bad without anything at all, but if I really have to, I can manage. Can you change clothes? Of course, after eating. How did she convince Takao to do this? Let's keep moving. Or was it the other way around? After descending from the mountains for a small fee, they joined a caravan traveling to the capital. The names Kazu, Mei, and Masamune were quite common, therefore, to avoid an accidental slip of the tongue, they did not change them when working out their history. Only given names remained unchanged. The kitsune was now Mei Yoshinaga, and her silent servant, Shino Odori, became known as Nanami. Okay, so silent, okay. Because she worked on her speech, but not quite that much. Okay, so she is a person of rank. She's a samurai's daughter. And she has a servant. Okay, so we're pretending to be someone high-born-ish. As the only one with a horse, Araya played the part of a guard to both the young mistress and the loyal samurai lord Yoshinaga, and also had a servant. Played the part of guard to both the young mistress and the loyal samurai lord Yoshinaga, and also had a servant. Played by Kazu. Shino Odori looked at the passing villages with curiosity, May with sadness. She thought the closer they got to the capital, the better life should look, but in fact, the houses of the peasants looked shabbier and the inhabitants more oppressed. Well, that makes sense given what we know is what's going on. The caravan moved along peacefully without incident. Masamune with 2 swords in his belt and a dozen soldiers hired by the merchant reliably discouraged any robbers from seeking easy profit. However, they encountered reminders of bandits. First, they saw an overturned cart on the side of the road. Then, 2 burned down huts on the edge of another village. Later, a horse patrol rushed past them. The commander stopped his horse and asked the caravan drivers if they had seen anyone suspicious on the road. People in the inns talked about the attacks. Besides, May assumed that the merchant would not have spent money on such security without a good reason. It was still unsafe on the roads of the southern province, and as it soon became clear, it was not only the robbers disturbing the peace. The caravan stopped briefly by a stream. May got off the cart to stretch her legs. Shino Odori, as expected, followed her, ready to serve. Tending to his horse, Araya led Kieran to the water. Kazu, unnoticed by others, was carefully looking around. Riders appeared from behind the roadside trees. By their armor and weapons, the kitsune immediately recognized them as a patrol, the same as they had met before. The warriors who protected the peaceful subjects of the empire. They had nothing to fear. But as the warriors approached the carts, May felt uncomfortable. The soldiers appraisingly looked at her and SHINO ODORI as though they were goods on the fucking market. With the same interest, they looked over the carts. Some of the riders dismounted. The commander turned to the merchant. What are you carrying? Furs, sir, from the winter trade. And who's this? He pointed to May. Your wife? No, the good lady's going to the capital for a festival. The samurais with her and their servants. We're merely going the same way. Your name, lady? Do you have your papers? Masamune moved closer, pulling out a paper. The commander of the patrol looked through it. I asked, what is your name? I'm supposed to be highborn, and he's supposed to be serving people in the capital, right? I don't know. So I feel like I shouldn't be bowing, because if Masamune bowed, then I would have bowed, right? But he didn't bow, and he's my father or something like that. So why would I bow? And the same token, why would I apologize? The kitsune keeping silent looked at Masamune. I'm answering for her. Araya took the papers back from the warrior. That seems right? This is the daughter of a respected master, a samurai, whose name carries weight in the capital. Okay. So he's a samurai's lord and guard, and my guard. Okay. It is against her upbringing to speak to strangers. Araya added peaceably. That's why I'm here. Yoshinaga, I don't recognize it. Who are the others? Servants. The commander walked away from the kitsune with obvious regret. My God, jeez. The amount of... I swear. It's just disgusting. It's just disgusting. And it's the same thing of men in power. That's what they always fucking do. It's like... I can't even... It just makes me sick to my stomach. Just like... And it's the same in real life. That's why it makes me so sick. You know what I mean? Like, even today. Like, it can't as overtly get away with shit like that, but it can still do it. You know, it's like... Merchant. Yes? You're aware of what is going on the roads? Bandits from all over have come here. Like you? I did hear, yes? Because our province is rich, right? Well, his voice dropped lower. What are they whispering about? She listened closer. 2 days from here, a caravan of a dozen carts was raided. Do you know the old bridge in the lowlands? The merchant shook his head. Have you heard about the massacre this winter at the Grey River? Oh, wasn't that where we were fighting? Grey Creek is the name of the place, sir. Wow. Whatever. The bandits, I say, are everywhere. It's honestly terrifying. Oh, so they're saying their bandits did that. Our province is rich. Life here is expensive. Why do you keep repeating that? Do you want something? You trying to steal his money? Do you see where I'm going with this? That you're a dick and we need to drown you in that little river right there? Not really. My men risk their lives every day so that you do not have to fear for yours. Their wages barely enough for plain rice. Okay, well, you need to take that up with your owners. Or your employers or whatever. Like, what am I supposed to feel sorry for you? Like, why is he coming at this like this merchant has a choice? Furs are worth a lot. You earn a decent amount, I bet. You could say that, sir. I do honest work. Honest, that's good. So as an honest man, you won't mind helping the fighters to whom one might say you owe your life? Not at all, sir. The saddened merchant threw back the cover of one of the carts. 2 soldiers reached in and soon, satisfied, emerged with armfuls of pelts. Armfuls! This is how, through joint efforts, we put things in order. Safe travels. Jumping into the saddle, he added, you can go to the capital without fear. There are no robbers further down the road. He spurred his horse and without turning around. There's probably only no robbers because, once again, they're working with the robbers. They're increasing fear and then turning around. They talked about that. He spurred his horse and without turning around headed north. The squad followed him. With nothing else to take from the peasants, now they rob the merchants? I don't think the warriors are robbing villages. The yokai looked meaningfully at the cart from which the furs were just taken. This is different. This is how they get themselves a raise. Different? Arai looked at the warriors with contempt. The shinobi seemed melancholic. The caravan guards looked at each other in silence, glancing sympathetically at the merchant. He waved his hand to the drivers. Like, why do we need you to protect us? Like, I hired these people for a reason. And if you had been doing your job, there would have been no need for me to hire these mercenaries or whatever. It's like... But once again, he came at it as if he had a choice. There was no choice there. He had to give those pelts up. He waved his hand to the drivers with irritation in his voice. What are you lazing about for? We're heading out. After making sure they weren't being listened to, Shino Odori whispered. People. On both sides. I told you that you can't trust them. What about Kazu and Masamune? With a very human grin, the yokai shook her head. Lovely naive fox, can't you see? They're like we are to the human world. They're different. May thought about her words. It's not wrong. It all depends on the point of view. You can find similarities. Kazu is hiding who he is from everyone. Same as I and Shino Odori. And Masamune. He hunts Oni, but he stays away from people. A ronin ready to die. Very few people understand either of them, and they don't need it. Perhaps that's why we found common ground so easily. You're right. Shino Odori touched Mei's hand. Different ones should help each other. I like that she's coming with us and be part of the squad. That's pretty cool. From our talk before, I didn't think she would leave, so I was kind of wondering how she could be an LI, but if she's coming with us, then that changes things. The commander of the patrol did not lie. The remainder of the journey passed without trouble. I'm sure it didn't because they didn't create trouble. The caravan rounded another hill, and Mei saw the majestic fortress walls of the capital. Kazu spoke softly. Masamune speaks. The three of us remain silent. Yeah. I wish you would have told me that before I went through that. Damn it, Kazu. That information would have been useful before. The carts rolled up to the gate. Araya took out the papers beforehand. The guards were already checking the first cart, asking the merchant. Where are you traveling from? North? A new fee has been imposed for those entering from other provinces. Another one? Another. Do you have any issue with local laws? See, and then he just immediately starts like threatening people. It's like, get the fuck out of here. The merchant hurched over, taking out his coin purse. The guard, meanwhile, turned to Arai. Mei tensed involuntarily. What if papers are being checked more thoroughly here? She tried to compose herself at once. It'll be fine. The ninja prepared everything properly. Hey you, mister, on the gray mare. Who are you? Oh. It's over? Oh man. That was a mess. That was a mess. That one made me mad. The episode made me mad. But it's not the episode's fault. It's what's going on, you know. It's just, you know, that sort of injustice is just really hard to watch. That sort of depravity is really hard to watch. I don't know. But in the end, like, we can't really change this, like, in small ways, so we can help in little ways along the way, but we can't really change how the world is here. You know, this is a little bit different from Cells in the Fog. Like, we're not gonna take over the area. We're mostly working kind of in secret, and we're really taking over in the underworld, kind of. So, at the end of the day, like, there's nothing we can do about this, because this is just, sure, there are, you know, monsters here, the Oni, but the humans are just as monstrous. You know what I mean? So even if we wipe out the Oni, that's not going to change the depravity that's going on here, unfortunately. You know? So I guess that's what's a little bit heartbreaking for me. I feel like I'm just upset that this is... I know there's something we're going to do about this and this story, really. It's just something that we have to deal with, and just kind of a realistic picture probably of what has been going on, but yeah, it just really sucks. But yeah, but I mean, to get you thinking like that, I still enjoy the story a lot. I'm happy that Shino is with us. That's really cool. Yeah, it's a nice good setup. So we're kind of moved along really nicely. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so in Dracula Love Story, moving from Romania to Lasville, what was her town is called, something like that. Whatever, it felt awkward. The transition was really awkward, whereas this seems really more natural. So this is the difference. This is what I'm talking about. So we moved from the village, the shinobi village, over to the capital, and in doing so, the transition, the journey made sense. And it didn't take very long to get from point A to point B. Like, we moved from the village to the capital in just one episode. But it made sense. One, because we had built it up, sure, that we're going to be taking this journey and we've been kind of waiting for it. But at the same time, like, you know, the choices that they made, the journey to get there, even though it wasn't pleasant as on the same token, like the one, like being abducted in Dracula Love Story, for the most part, almost abducted, even though she kind of got on the plane. That's my problem. It makes sense. The character choices still made sense. Like, nobody's acting out of character here, in order to make this transition. Anyway, but that's just kind of what I'm talking about. You know, that's the kind of the difference. But yeah, they announced another new story. Oh my God, they just like rolling them out. They announced another new story. I think it's about ice skating, which is super exciting because I freaking love ice skating. So that would be cool, like being in a competitive sport. That's something new we haven't done before. Well, I mean, the dance, technically, the competitive sport, and it's written by, seduced by the rhythm writer as well. But you know, so it's slightly different. Yeah, so even though I don't like Seduced by the Rhythm, I'm still gonna give it a chance. Look, it could work out. It could. But anyway, because correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the writer who wrote My Hollywood Story, isn't that the person who wrote Sins of London? Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that was the case. I'm not sure. Let me know. Anyway, I'm going to end this part right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and show that like button to love. Subscribe to see more content like this, and I will see you next time. Bye.